Why would it autocorrect from no to Nikki?
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I told you I texted the guy. We should touch bases.
Touch asses. Dude, just the fucking mental image of touching
Yeah,
asses. It's like,
and
who?
I go. Hey, just wanted to touch asses.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Tether Radio Podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. My name's Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and co-host, Joseph.
Still in the aviary, baby.
I hear those tweets going.
Yeah, still in the aviary. Still in the aviary, man. But yeah, so this is episode 4-2, correct?
That's a big 4-2. Yeah.
Wild, man. It's wild. We're gonna have to figure out some sort of celebration on the year anniversary, man. It's coming up.
Yeah. What, episode 50 or 52?
Um,
Do we really want to split hairs?
is what's in question? How many weeks are in a year?
No, I just wasn't sure what episode you wanted to make extra special.
Oh, gotcha. I say 52, man.
All
I
right,
think
yeah.
I think 52 is the one to go with.
Yeah.
What
That
do you
works.
say? Where's your vote?
Yeah, that works for me, man, because yeah, year of steady episodes. We have not missed a week.
That's right,
I'm
and
pretty sure.
I think we're going to continue to plow forward. We've got some interesting programming we might introduce in the next couple of weeks, but it's going to be good, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
It's
So
be good, buddy.
so how's your stuff going, man?
It's good. It's good. Just jamming. We've got have been working a new business, which I will tell you all about here in a week or so once we kind of get into it a little bit deeper. But
Cool.
we I've been working in tech. Oh my God, do you hear these birds?
Yeah, dude,
Ripping.
they're happy as some larks.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? So I am myself
What is
and
this, a fucking nature podcast?
I know, right? Right. Myself and this other person have a business, and our business is doing just got a contract, a big contract out in the desert in California. So I am living in kind of desert adjacent, and in order to make sure that we continue the cast, bruh, have been casting from in this kind of hybrid outside room, and thus the beautiful birds in the background. But yeah, thanks for asking, man. Everything is
Yeah,
great. What about you?
for
How's
sure.
everything going with you?
Going well, going well. Glad to be wrapping up another week. This week was actually pretty solid. We had the Junior League gala last night for the Junior League of Knoxville that Megan is a big part of. So we went to that, had some drinks, had some food, got to listen to a little bit from a local cover band called the Coveralls, and it was fun. So, but yeah, man, just and then I think we're going over to a friend's house this afternoon, evening to do grilled pizza. So I'm stoked about that, and I'm sure have
I
some
like the
beers to
sound
go
of that.
with it.
What the hell is grilled pizza? Literally just pizza on the grill?
Yeah, yeah. Like they have mastered it, and it's they make their own dough and stuff, and it's basically everybody brings like fixins for the tops or whatever toppings for the pizzas, and they'll provide the dough and like cheese and sauce, and then everybody else provides the rest of the stuff. So
All right,
it'll
all
be
right.
fun. It'll be fun. We'll get to see if Finn likes pizza because I don't think he's actually had. He's probably had a bite of pizza at some point, but yeah. Anyway, enough about that.
He will.
Yeah, and he'll love it. We just got to keep him away from eggs because he just turns in like his GI just like reverses when eggs hit his mouth. So
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
he just
That's
turns
crazy.
into a vom sprinkler. So,
Well,
but
I like it, man. Well, we'll have to figure out. We'll have to get an update after that.
yeah, for sure.
I shall. But anyway, let's get into this sucker.
Yeah, yeah. So I pulled this first one from Wired. Male birth control could actually happen, but do men want it? So just going on this title alone, would you be interested in male contraception? And this is hormonal therapy. So
Yeah.
are
I
you
mean,
good with just wrapping your tool, dude, or do you want to take the
yeah.
extra go the extra yards?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not really an issue for me now, but I mean, if I was like, like late teens, early 20s, yeah, I could see that. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know
So
how easy is it to reverse.
no, dude, it's extremely easy to reverse. It's basically kind of being compared to the pill for women.
Let's hear it.
So
Let's hear
so
about
yeah.
this. Let's hear about this promising dick tech.
Yeah, right.
Cool
So,
tech.
so basically, they start off by putting a rubber band around your nuts and just sniffing them.
They start off by putting a rubber band around your nuts, and then they hang you upside down and speed bag it.
Now you have to go in 3 times a week for a nut bag speed bag, a scrot speed bag.
Scrub bag.
But no. So I thought that I actually really liked how this article opened up. On a recent morning in Los Angeles, Michael Medrano dabbed a teaspoon-sized glob of cold gel onto his shoulders. It's just another part of his routine these days. Brush teeth, apply deodorant, comb hair, dab gel. So that's basically the administration part. It's like a quarter size amount of clear gel that you rub on your shoulders.
Uh-huh.
It's transdermally, putting let's see, I think it was testosterone and progestin, a
Okay.
mixture of those two hormones.
Okay.
And they're basically shooting to suppress the body's natural production of sperm.
Okay.
So this is also coming from his wife was kind of having some adverse effects from the contraception that they were using previously, which was the Depo-Provera shot, which with any kind of hormonal therapy, there's going to be side effects, or at
Right.
least the potential for side effects.
Right.
So basically she was having like some mood issues and like I think she was like gaining a lot of weight, or her weight was fluctuating like drastically in both directions kind of thing, and kind of uncontrollably.
Okay.
And so they wanted to look into other options kind of thing, and this guy ran across this study that people on Reddit were talking about, which I think that it's really funny because I feel like I've been seeing Reddit more and more cited as this place for people going for information,
Okay.
and instead of like fucking WebMD or these other websites that normally people are going to migrate to for health concerns. People are going to Reddit because I feel like it's almost like this self-policing thing that people will post shit, and if it's not accurate or correct, it gets called out really quickly.
Right. Right.
But anyway, so so they're basically, this is still in the research part of drug development and all that. I think that it's definitely, it supposedly looks very promising at this point in the research. now we'll obviously have to see if how effective it is versus side effects and all that jazz, and see if it actually is it does work to the degree that they want it to, and it's going to approach the efficacy of the pill being about 99.99 ish.
Right.
So
Right.
when taken correctly. And I was actually talking to Megan about this, and she was like, I mean, would you be interested in it? I would be interested in like a trial of it, but I mean, it's one of those things that, dude, if it started like jacking with my head and stuff,
Yeah,
screw
but
that.
that's something that like, chicks have had to do for a long time, right? Like it's
True,
been
true.
like the hormonal um
But in defense of, well, if you're talking about like a long time ago, when there weren't like multiple options, dude, now there are probably 30 plus different just like whatever cycle, you know, pill kind of stuff or options, I'm sorry.
right. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of one of these trial and error that it's like, hey, we're gonna try you on this, see how you do. If if it messes with your period, if it messes with your head, if it makes you gain weight, this, that, the other, you've got multiple other options that you can, go to lower doses, higher doses, fucking, there's a lot of different strategies these days, but I mean, I think this is definitely, I agree with you that it's, women have had to deal with this for a while, and I think that it's appropriate that that we would, help take the burden, because hell, we got a dog in that hunt if you pop out a kid, so.
Right. Right. No, absolutely.
But
Absolutely, man.
but anyway, so I don't know, I would be interested in it, I would be interested in
Yeah, I
taking
mean,
that
I
spin.
think that I kind of I like the idea of it. I guess I mean, more options matter for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if I don't know. It's just giving people access to different ways to engage in family planning. I think is always a very 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 good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because kids that are um, you know whatever unwanted or surprises or whatever
We'll
can.
just call it, we'll quote Bob Ross, happy little accidents.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I think definitely more tools for family planning is not a bad thing for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
But yeah, it's gonna be I don't know. I guess I don't really know enough about the physiology to
Hmm.
to really kind of dig in and understand it. But
Hmm.
it seems like to me it's kind of surprising that it's taken as long as it has, I guess,
So the one thing that they did talk about a little bit in the article was the fact of, I mean, hell, even in the title, male birth control could actually happen, but do men want it? That is the key part, in my opinion. They're just wondering if this R&D is, even if they do develop something, is there a market for it? Are there going to be men that will opt into this, or
Yeah.
are they going to be like, well, why the fuck would I? Why would we do anything other than the pill? It's already 99.9, or whatever.
It's just a habit building thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just a habit building thing. Like having people know that it's a possibility, I think
yeah,
is the obviously the first step in the deal. But I think it's a great thing, man. I
yeah.
think it's a
No,
great
I
thing for sure.
completely agree, and I agree with your. I think you summed it up well. More options are always better. So,
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
but
So now, why don't you break us off with a little piece of the you woke up the other morning and you got served up a
a little login notice.
little login notice. You got served up a McMuffin, a hack
Yeah,
McMuffin,
yeah. Seriously, I'm like hacked. But
McHack. Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So we'll put on our tinfoil hats for a little bit for a second. I just thought it was very interesting, and I brought it up to Joseph, and Joseph was like, "Yeah, let's cover it. Let's do this." So I saw this article from the Wired newsletter. McDonald's bites on big data with $300 million acquisition. Didn't really think that much of it. Didn't look into it that much, and I was like, whatever. But I kind of marked it to come back to. Then I wake up on, I guess, like, was it like Thursday or Friday? Or I think it was Friday, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
And I had an email that came to me at about 12:15 a.m., and it said that my Twitch account had been logged in from a computer running Chrome in Tel Aviv, Israel. So I didn't think anything of that. I mean, dude, accounts, they people hack that shit constantly. I don't have anything, attached to my Twitch account. I don't sub to anybody. I don't do anything. It's an extremely inactive account. So it didn't really surprise me that much. So I got on there, did like two-factor, set that up, whatever. Haven't had any problems since. So then I circle back to this McDonald's article, and I'm reading through it. And so McDonald's is purchasing a company by the name of Dynamic Yield.
Okay.
And it's basically a startup based in Tel Aviv.
Okay. It's called Dynamic Yield.
Dynamic Yield, correct. So I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I mean, like, what's the likelihood of like me coming across this article or this acquisition happening literally right at the same time as my Twitch account randomly is hacked,
right?
And specifically from Tel Aviv, Israel.
Right.
It was just it was really weird, and I was like, all right, well, I want to dive into this because Joseph and I, as I'm sure the listeners are extremely aware of, we love this data game, and we love how people are trying to figure out how to squeeze more data out of the public and do it at the lowest cost possible. And basically have the users be as complacent as possible about it,
Right.
So I started looking into it, and so they're basically, which some of these numbers were blowing my fucking mind, dude. Take a stab at the net income of McDonald's for 2018.
Hold on. Let me think for a second.
Yeah.
The net income.
Net income for McDonald's in 2018. I was kind of taken aback personally. But.
I mean, it's a massive number, but how massive? I don't know. I don't know.
$6 billion, and that's a B. $6 billion net income. And so, you might be able to explain this
because
I didn't.
Fries.
Say what?
It's a lot of fries, bro.
Yeah, right. And you know what? No ice cream was served because everybody always knows the soft serve machine's broken at all McDonald's.
At all McDonald's. Yeah, buddy.
Anyway, so what's the difference between a net income and free cash flow?
Net income is what
I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this.
Yeah, no worries. Net income would be it would be income minus expenses.
Okay.
And free cash flow would be a statement of income that would mean. Hang on, I would have to see FCF. Here we go. Hang on. So free cash flow would be earnings before interest and tax minus taxes plus depreciation and amortization minus capex minus change in working capital. So
in English,
yeah. So it's the cash. It is a statement of the health of your the health of your actual earnings.
So that was 4.2 billion for them.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
Yeah,
that's a huge number. So it's like it is Like there, you can make a ton of money, but it can
Hmm.
cost you a lot to make a ton of money.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? So you can make
Yeah.
like $6 billion, but it costs you $5.8 billion to make $6 billion. That's
Yeah.
not a very good situation.
Gotcha.
If it costs you,
So free
500
free cash
million,
flow is almost like the,
it's like the
once
health of
everything's
your
been
cash flow.
taxed and all that
Well,
jazz.
it's the health of your cash flow.
Got you. So
Right.
and that would be measured against your net income. So like a high percentage of your net
Yeah,
income
well,
is
what you would
free cash flow.
say is like, here's net, right, exactly. Here's,
Okay.
you would say, here's my net income, and then and then you would want your free cash flow to be a very high percentage of net income.
Yeah. Okay. So, so just moving on from the specifics of McDonald's finances. So,
And that is correct, by the way. It's total expenses minus, or excuse me, total revenues minus total expenses.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
the total amount of money you made minus the expenses that you had to um, outlay to make that money.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell you um, kind of the health of that income.
Gotcha.
So once you get into free cash flow,
Hmm.
that gives you a better idea of exactly what it took um, to make that money.
That money. Okay.
Yeah,
So my question was, when I started digging into this, okay, it makes sense that McDonald's would want to bring, basically this is a machine learning. It's a fucking buzzword startup. That's what it is, in my
right,
opinion.
right,
Machine learning, algorithms, all that shit. And they want to slowly implement this into their stores, which, as we've already seen, a lot of McDonald's are moving to completely digital kiosks that you order your food, and I'm assuming the only time that you're actually dealing with a person is to receive your food, kind of
correct.
thing.
Yeah, have you used any of these?
I have not, because we covered that one article, the bacteria that they were pulling off those fucking touch screens. So.
Right, right. The Dookie.
The Dookie. But have you?
I have. Yeah, I
Did
have.
you wash your hands? I'm just kidding.
No, I
I actually chose my meal by poking the buttons with my tongue.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. No, I actually use my butt cheeks to type
Yeah.
uh,
Nice. I ended up with a really weird order.
yeah,
But anyway, so excuse me. So I was wondering, okay, well, obviously you can crunch the data of how many fucking Big Macs you sold, how many, extra large fries, Cokes, teas, whatever. You got that. Well,
right.
they're talking about algorithms that would crunch data that was as diverse as the weather, time of day, local traffic, nearby events, and of course, historical sales data, both at specific franchise locations and around the world. So these guys are literally they're going for the big one. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, it's what's so fascinating about this is
Hmm.
that for a while people would say, "Hey, we're a big data company," right? And
Hmm.
nobody knew really what that meant.
Yeah.
And so I think that the thing I love about this is that we know that this data is useful. And we know that like things aren't random, right? Like people are
Hmm.
making decisions to whether or not to buy like a medium or small, or whether to add on,
Hmm.
a medium or small drink, right? Or
Hmm.
whether to add on like an apple pie or whatever. They're doing this based on something, right?
Hmm.
And so making that decision could very well be like, if I know you went for a run this morning, for example, you may be at a higher likelihood to buy an apple pie because you might think, well, I went for a run, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can afford those calories or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Which,
And
dude,
so,
did you know that they already have like apparently using the McDonald's app, they have like this geo I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it's. I want to call it geofencing
Right, right, right,
around their stores so that you can place an order, and then once you walk past that threshold,
right.
they're alerted that you're there to start preparing your meal.
That doesn't surprise me, and it's super interesting, you know. But it's like, dude, people are just taking this shit. It's well, I don't
They
know.
don't think they just think of the convenience. They don't think of anything past that.
Right. And I don't know if people are, you know, I was going to say companies are taking this shit too far. I don't know if they are.
Yeah,
I just think it's fucking weird the way that it's being presented.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and that's that because
Not a
we're
whole lot of transparency.
well and we're not going we're not um yes, not a lot of transparency, and we're not clear on, like, we're going from a world that seems like you are in control
Hmm.
to a world that expressly like illustrates why the fact that you are not in control.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I
it's
mean?
almost
And I
like
think
the
that really creeps a lot of people out, you know,
yeah.
to think that, like, I don't know. I'm having trouble coming up with an example, but to think that, like, because like, if we look at the data around the way that you move through the world, you are not unique. Most people are leaning on signals in some way to do what they do in their life. You know, and I think having that kind of like jammed in your face is just fucking creepy, dude.
Well,
You
and
know?
we don't have a well-defined line for for convenience overstepping into an invasion of privacy kind of thing.
And we're not
Yeah,
going to have that. We're
yeah.
not going to have that for a while. I mean,
Well,
you know,
it's well, the burden is on the people, and the people clearly don't care to think about the burden, or the vast majority of people,
right,
you know.
right.
But
Yeah,
anyway, so I wanted to go through a little bit of how they're planning on using these algorithms and stuff.
yeah, please.
So they said, as an example, let's say that you've got a person coming home, or a person that's waiting in the, or I guess ordering, and they order two Happy Meals at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
The algorithm would be able to deduce that, supposedly the algorithm would be able to deduce that, okay, this person is most likely buying two meals for children,
Right.
and maybe they would like something to treat themselves. So scrolling on the bottom, or wherever on the screen, the digital ordering screen, you'd have promos going, and those
Right.
promos would be specific to what orders are being placed.
Right.
And
Okay.
so it's like they would offer a coffee or a fucking pie or something like that, and it's like, I'll splurge a little bit and I'll grab that for myself since I'm getting the kids something or whatever.
Right.
So I
Right.
was like, okay, cool. Well, then he was, and I say he. Let me make sure that I think it was, I believe it's Daniel Henry, McDonald's executive vice president, who was talking about this stuff. And so he was talking about how having a dynamic drive-through.
Okay.
So at 5 o'clock on whatever every day, we'll say this one McDonald's, the drive-through gets backed up.
Okay.
So it would start promoting simpler preparation items to be sold to try to get the drive-through moving quicker.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
vice versa, if it's slow, it might start promoting more expensive, more complex items to prepare.
Right.
I just thought that was, it's just it's going to be very interesting how this shit gets implemented, I guess. Because I mean, I get it, and it makes sense. Because I mean, the one thing that Easterbrook, who's the CEO, I believe, of McDonald's, he was quoted as saying, "We've never had an issue in this business with a lack of data." Basically, and then he quoted as saying, "It's drawing the insight and the intelligence out of it," which I think you were kind of speaking to earlier. That it's like we have all these companies have a shit ton of data, but
Right.
they don't know what to do with it. They don't know
Right.
how to analyze it. They don't know how to pull something useful out of and relevant for their company out of this huge pool of data, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's,
And that's why all these big data companies are being bought up, because that's what they specialize in, is taking pools of data and making them presenting it in a useful manner for the business
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
But the thing is if it was in a silo, if that was in a silo, then it would be like zoom out on this,
Okay.
right? All you're saying is that there are, a variety of factors that predict other factors, right? And so, if you think about that, sure, I could say, um, if someone is behaving like I could say, if someone is behaving in this way, in the way that they, interact with this like these variables, these menu items, then I can extrapolate that the next thing that they're going to do is this, or something that they're going to be, something that they're going to be, they're more likely to do this other thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But McDonald's, it doesn't stop with McDonald's, and that's like the crazy part, right? They're buying this technology that can be used in a variety of different applications, and so it's like McDonald's is now in the data game. Like, I mean, so if they're able to say, you know, Daniel is buying a couple of Happy Meals, therefore he is 87% more likely to buy, whatever, a black coffee and an apple pie or whatever.
Yeah.
When you look at this, like, it doesn't, all
You
these
can
things
tell
are,
that neither of us eat at McDonald's because we keep using the same fucking food
yeah, yeah,
examples.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But if you can say that, then it's like, okay, well, ultimately these are just variables that are being fed into this algorithm, and if we feed them in this certain way, this is what they predict will happen next. Well, that sausage maker is probably useful in other areas, right? So now McDonald's is generally in the data game. Like, now they have these super powerful tools that, they can lease to other people, or they
Yeah.
can monetize in other ways, right? And then, as a part of the way that they're monetizing this algorithm,
Yeah.
they're extending their reach into, we were talking about, treating yourself because you went on a run the morning before. So, like, are they providing, this technology to Nike? So then Nike is then feeding, information back to them, such that when people go on a run, they're able to, like, somehow connect this to the fact that they went on a run, and they know that on Sunday afternoon, we see Daniel show up at McDonald's. So now it's just like, it's overreaching is my point,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like all of these, it's just complex as we
Yeah.
continue to lean into a digital world, and you're never offline, and you've got companies from, Chevron to McDonald's to fucking pick one, that's like running algorithms over your data to figure out how to manipulate you. Like, it's
Yeah.
just a fucking dark ass future, dude. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and so just to wrap up this article, so we can cruise. This was the most telling thing, or one of the more telling things in this article that just makes me uneasy. Let me put it that way. I'm just going to basically read this verbatim. An important part of that focus is figuring out how to leverage the, quote, personalization part of a personalization engine. Fine-tuned insights at the store level are one thing, but Easterbrook envisions something even more granular. Now, he was quoted as saying this: if customers are willing to identify themselves, ding, 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 ding,
Right.
there's all sorts of ways that you can do that. And we can be even more useful to them, because now we can call up their favorites. And then it says, according to Easterbrook, who stresses that privacy is paramount.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it's a slippery fucking slope, man.
Yeah, it's
So, because
get
you
ready.
fucking the average McDonald's um customer, I would say, would be completely down to get $1 off their meal to sign in each time.
Or just say, "Is this you?"
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And with like facial recognition shit not on the horizon, fucking already being implemented in like airports and stuff. It's
Right.
like fuck. You don't think that McDonald's has thought about that?
Right,
Because
absolutely.
they don't even need your fucking name. They'll just tag your face
Yep.
and just create a shadow account kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, man.
So
It's
I
totally
wanted to put
totally wild, man.
that little grain of sand in the listeners' mouths so that they fucking just be careful out there with that data. There's a reason you're uncomfortable when hearing this shit.
It's totally wild, man. Totally wild. But
But
all right, so next up, man, we've got
L. Ron Hubbard,
L. Ron Hubbard, baby. L. Ron Mo fucking Hubbard. All right,
God,
break us off with this, dude.
dude, I've just an idea for future episodes, man. I feel like it would be fun to dive into like Scientology and some of these like a little bit less, or I guess off the beaten path, religions and cults and stuff like that. That'd be
Right.
kind of fun to research and look into. Because
Yeah.
Scientology is some fucking wild shit that apparently was started from a bad dental visit.
All right, wait. Hop into this here.
Okay.
Hop into this. First of all, L. Ron Hubbard. Have you seen the movie? Um, what's it called? The Master. Have you
No,
seen
no, I
this?
haven't. I haven't.
It's
Oh, is that Joaquin Phoenix
it's
and
great.
Hoffman?
Yeah. No, no, no,
Philip
no,
Seymour
not
Hoffman?
not Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It is great, dude.
So that it's about Scientology?
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
don't
mean,
think that I realized that.
yeah. It's like a. Did you watch it?
No, no, I haven't seen it. Tim watched it recently and was like, it's like weird.
Tim
So
Morgan,
correct.
son of a bitch. Um, I'm kidding. Is it we're related to him, Tim
Yeah,
Morgan?
he's basically a brother. He's not an uncle.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's like thin. It's a thinly shrouded retelling of the genesis of Scientology.
yeah,
But man, it's just I love this kind of stuff because let me just say this before you hop in.
yep.
Religion is extremely important to people,
Hmm.
and no matter where you fit or how you feel about religion, like people can say like, yeah, I'm just not a religious person.
Hmm.
Yet, they show up every day for spin class, right?
Hmm.
Like, and this is really interesting. I'll see if I can find this as we're digging through this article.
Hmm.
But there was a VC, a venture capital group that
Hmm.
did some research on, kind of coming trends or whatever.
Hmm.
And this idea that most people are, quote, becoming, quote, less religious or whatever
Hmm.
is completely bullshit. They're just directing that energy at something else,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
whereas you used to,
Like veganism.
you
No,
know,
just
this is no
kidding.
joke. No, this is absolutely no joke. And so products that present themselves in a light where people can kind of latch on and kind of like make it a like deep and meaningful part of their life. This is
Hmm.
something that people really have their eye on, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so again, like these, not that fitness is a cult. That's not what I'm saying. But
Hmm.
like being, this brand
But
loyal.
CrossFit is.
Well, just like being, yeah, right. Being loyal to these
Yeah,
brands in this way
yeah, yeah.
is fucking weird. and it's like people have slipped into that very easily, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the examples is goddamn, what is the name of that company that does spin classes?
What, turbo spin?
No, it's like they're like super 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 shishi.
Peloton?
No, Peloton's the name of the bike.
Peloton's the home ones, the
Yeah.
things that you can like sign into.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the.
That's all I've got spin wise.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, and I'll figure this out. I'll
Yeah.
figure this out. But go
So
ahead. Tell us a little bit about this Scientology article.
yeah, so I pulled this one from NBC News, and it's titled "Man Armed with Sword Fatally Shot at Scientology Church Near Los Angeles." So this did not take place at the main
Soul
like.
Cycle. Soul Cycle is the
Oh,
name.
I've heard of Soul
Yeah,
Cycle.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
absurdly expensive. Anyway, go ahead.
This did not take place at the downtown Los Angeles Scientology Center, which apparently that's what's it's the home to lots of celebrity Scientologists kind of thing, right? Which I think didn't we
That's
eat
actually in
across the road?
That's actually in Hollywood, but yes.
Oh, okay. Well, it said downtown Los Angeles in this article for some reason. So, but we went there, did we not? And we had lunch right across the street.
Yeah,
I think
I may be mistaken. There may be a Scientology spot downtown that I don't know about, but
because I remember we got like a big fucking stack of onion rings. It was some kind of bird restaurant or
oh
something.
no. That is in Hollywood. That was not in downtown.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now there may be a downtown location though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so this one actually took place at the Inglewood facility. And so this guy rolls up in a white Bentley and basically gets onto the premises, and he's approached by the guards, and he it's
Wait. He rolls up in a white Bentley, you said?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or wait, let me. I'm pretty sure that because there were three main events that I'm almost positive. What?
I mean, it's just
Yeah. Unified
God,
Dan. Yeah,
human beings are so weird. Are so weird. Go ahead
yeah.
though.
So I'm gonna skip over to this Daily Beast because they've got a little bit. I think the article was written a little bit later than the NBC News one that I chose or that
Okay.
I picked up. But
Okay.
it shows up in a white Bentley. And then he entered the center with a samurai sword, where he quote acted. He was started acting crazy.
Okay.
Two
Okay.
police officers arrived on the scene, opened fire on the man, striking him in the head. He later died in the hospital. Details of the killing are sparse.
Okay.
So, in addition to that, this was also kind of weird. In addition to that, the two police. Let's see. Police said the officers, neither of whom was immediately identified, were shot in the hand and arm and were being treated at a hospital. But they say nothing in any of these articles about the actual sword wielder having a gun.
Is
Like,
it? Yeah, but I mean, I wonder if they were shot by like crossfire or something.
well, and that's what. So I, of course, pulling anything off Reddit, I have to take a quick peek into the comments,
Right.
Because it's just like you can glean either a lot of comedy or facts. I feel like from or a little bit more insight, I guess, into it. But that's what one dude was saying is that in crossfires and stuff, shit can get really crazy really quickly. And so, the cops might have even shot each other, kind of thing, on accident, kind of thing.
Okay.
Which wouldn't surprise me because it would make sense to leave that out, because obviously that doesn't bode well for the LAPD.
Right.
But anyway, so the funny thing is this isn't the first time that a sword wielder has gone into the Church of Scientology or a Church of Scientology center to run amok or cause a ruckus. Apparently, in November 2008, 40-year-old Mario Majorsky, he went into the Hollywood Celebrity Center, and he had a samurai sword and attempted to attack people inside the center until a security guard shot and killed him. So he had actually been a member in the 90s, I believe.
Okay.
And then he had started, let's see, it says he took up the group's aggressive stance against critics. He attempted to sue a UCLA professor in '93 who criticized Scientology. And I guess he just kind of went off the deep end, man, because he was just, he didn't seem super mentally stable.
Right.
But so all of these sword wielders, it's been weird because there was actually an additional one. Let me scroll.
But doesn't that have something? Because when we were chatting about this article, doesn't that have something to do with
the origin of
yes.
Scientology?
Yes.
So basically, I just wanted to cover this last one. There was a third stabbing, yeah, and it was this past January. Sorry, I'm just trying to. There we go. 16-year-old carried a 9-inch knife into a Sydney, Australia center.
Okay.
Teenager was believed to have attended the church with his mother, who was undergoing one of Scientology's, quote, purification ceremonies.
Okay.
He allegedly became involved in a domestic dispute inside the building. When they told him to leave, he drew the knife on him, injuring one and killing another. And then Scientology got a bunch of criticism from apparently a really good A&E expose
Right.
on it. But anyway, so jumping back to the origin of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard had this weird fucking experience when he was sedated at a dental office, and basically like this shit came, this whatever this epiphany came to him. Let me put it that way. And so he supposedly wrote this this book that is viewed by a lot of people as the precursor to Dianetics, which is the backbone of it's basically what Scientology is based on, correct?
It is, yeah. But dude, he was like a prolific and unsuccessful writer.
Yeah. Well, so and this is the other like funny thing is he was quoted as saying he wrote that book, but the people that read it early on, because there's no copies of it, nobody can find any fucking copies of it or anything. But he said that the people that read it early on were either driven crazy or died.
Who said this?
Fucking L. Ron Hubbard, man.
Oh my God.
It's almost like what is it? Joseph from Mormonism. What's his name?
Oh, right. Joseph Smith, wasn't it? Isn't it?
It might have been Joseph Smith. I'm not sure, but anyway, how like the angels had presented these golden tablets to him, but nobody else had seen the golden tablets, and he just like recited shit from memory or whatever. Like, it's just there's a couple holes in the story. Right, way.
Right.
It would not be upheld in the court of law.
Right.
But so he named that Excalibur, which, if any listeners are not familiar with the story of King Arthur was the king of the Britons, I believe, and he pulled the sword out, like the Excalibur, out of the stone. He was the king that the Sword in the Stone was written about.
Got it. Okay.
And so that's why there's been kind of this obsession with swords and their correlation with Scientology.
Okay.
So it's just been kind of weird. Scientology is super bizarre. I started reading about it and I was like, whoa. I am not high enough to be reading this.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
It is pretty wild, and like people are super 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 into it, man.
And the thing is with any religion, it's difficult to really criticize any of them for the sole reason that they're all based on faith, and there's no
Yep.
proof in faith.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but anyway, so I thought it was kind of interesting. The Daily Beast had a, you know, which obviously Daily Beast take it with a grain of salt, but it was a pretty well written article, and it was interesting. They drew some interesting, excuse me, conclusions. So,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
you've got to watch The Master, and I think you really 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 have to watch it. I mean, it's man, I don't know. I just keep coming back to the fact that like humans really really need religion. And so, when you have groups of people that are looking for something to believe, man, it's not that crazy. The thing that's so fucking bizarre about these Scientology people,
yeah.
um, are
Do you
just,
know
yeah,
anybody that's a Scientologist?
I don't. I
Yeah,
don't.
because I don't think I do either.
But if you live in or around LA, like you see fairly regularly, people on the sidewalk recruiting people, and asking them if they want to go through, God, what's it called? Thetana?
They're called Thetans or
Thetans,
whatever.
yeah. But then you have to. I can't remember what is it
Well,
called? What's
is
the
that what they were talking about with that dude that the purification ceremony thing?
Yeah, so you supposedly use this device to figure out what your triggers are or something, or like what has happened to you in the past, and then you have to like go through this process of purifying against what has happened to you in the past. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy though, dude. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it fucking is what it is. I guess people being like, yeah, there's like an invisible man on a cloud that like, is omnipresent is also kind of an odd thing, but
Yeah.
but
Man,
it's weird. I don't know. The the sword thing is just the thing that is so ridiculous about this for me. Is just
yeah.
people. Scientology has a problem with people dying armed with swords. What?
Yeah, yeah. In 2019.
In
So,
2019, man. That's it. That's it. So
but
anyway, all right. So we have we're gonna head over to the plastic bag man, right?
yeah.
Um,
Which we were kind of talking about this a little bit before. The fact that like I was bitching and moaning because if I'm pretty sure that this girl doesn't listen to our podcast anymore, but if she's listening, fuck recycling. So
do you really think that?
yeah, I think it's a waste of time and resources. To be perfectly candid with you, just because the amount of reusable material that is gleaned from these massive amounts of the problem is there has to be a very high purity, to these recyclable materials.
Okay.
And if you don't have sorted stuff that's properly sorted, then you can have contaminants really easily.
Okay.
Case in point, Knoxville, the city of Knoxville, had decided to stop receiving glass recyclables altogether.
Okay.
So you can, we don't have to sort our recyclables or anything. But I kind of wanted to look into it because I was like, well, that's kind of weird that they would just stop recycling one thing. But apparently what happens is people will recycle bottles and don't really pay any attention. They'll clang together. They'll, little chips will come off of them, whatever. And obviously those little chips can add up when you're talking about tons of recyclable materials. and then you end up with purities that are below the threshold, and so they basically just have to fucking throw the batch away, kind of thing, because you've had so many flakes of glass in plastics or something like that, you know. So they've chosen to actually not take glass as a recyclable material unless you go to a like a place that takes sorted recyclable material. So
wait, hold on. You're saying if there are glass chips that get into the plastic?
well, I'm saying it gets into something. Like I don't know whether it's like it's specifically it is glass chips, but I don't know if it's the plastics. I don't know if it's the paper. I don't, mixed paper, all that jazz. I don't know what it's contaminating, but it is contaminating it to the point to where it's unusable.
Right.
And I want to say it is the plastics, but I have nothing to base that on. So
Right.
But anyway, so I was bitching and moaning to you about Kroger is moving to. I'm pretty sure they've already implemented it out west to a degree. And you said that you actually had some commentary on that because hell, you lived in California for the past however long. So.
Yeah. So what ended up happening? So so when I first moved out here, they had they started the plastic bag ban, right?
Mm.
And what's funny, the reason that I thought this was interesting. So okay, so first of all, I don't disagree with your commentary on recycling. Actually, at all. Like, if that is what is going on, I don't disagree with it, right? I don't know enough about recycling to, dispute that or refute that, I guess. But it seems to me that it could be problematic at scale, right? I mean, yeah, it seems like it could be problematic. I think, though, that we've gotten to kind of a point in human history where we're fucking up a lot of shit, dude. Like, generally, right? Plastic bags, one of the problems, well, it's not even plastic bags, it's with plastics in general, right, is that they only degrade to a certain point. And so then you end up with a situation where, like, excuse me, they get into the God, what's the word I'm looking for? The not ecosystem. It's like, when one larger animal eats a smaller animal. What is that called? The food chain.
Food chain. Yeah.
They get
Food web.
The food web. That's right. At a very, very low.
Stop trying to oversimplify.
Well, at a very low level, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I can't really speak to whether or not this is, quote, true. Like, I just don't know. Fuck, I don't know. So when it's like I don't know. But I have read a couple of things that have said it is problematic in that you've got plastics that will degrade, to a really small microscopic level, but then you've got, these animals that are ingesting it or being exposed to it, and then that's kind of like rolling up the food web or the food chain or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's causing some issues. I would liken it to, so much medication being in society that, like, you end up with,
contaminated water
Return of the
sources
Frog,
and shit.
yeah.
You end up with chemtrails.
Yeah, chemtrails. But I would liken it to something like that, right? Where it's like, okay, for example, if there are just an insane number of people that are being medicated on mood meds or whatever, they're definitely excreting some of these chemicals, right?
And then, dude, a lot of them are literally excreted either metabolites or unchanged in the urine, period.
Right. And so then what the fuck happens to that, right?
Yeah,
And if you're pumping a massive amount of that, back into the system, like, it's got to have some effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It may not have like the dastardly effects that you're suggesting, but it's got to have some effect.
Yeah.
And so anyway, my point is that is that I can see that, with in an overcrowded world, we probably need to turn towards things that are less disposable, simply because, um, you know, I could see it being problematic, right? Like if everybody
Hmm.
just opened up their oil pans on their cars every time they needed to change their oil, that could
Hmm.
be an issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just draining that. Like if everybody just drained the oil in their car and just dumped it down the drain, for
Hmm.
example, like that could probably, we would all agree that would probably be a problem.
Yeah.
And so like I think that, like, plastics kind of fit in that category. So I'm not against, like, insofar as recycling, I don't really know. I'm not against like figuring out a way to just use products that are more resilient, right? That
Yeah.
aren't as disposable. Simply because it just seems like good practice for people to hang on to shit a little bit longer. So let me
Yeah.
tell the story about moving to California.
Hmm.
So I've been in LA 11 years, right?
Hmm.
And when I first moved out here, there were statewide laws. Maybe they were countywide.
Hmm.
Um, I think maybe they were countywide. And dude, people were losing their shit, right? They'd get up to, the front of the grocery store line, and they'd be like, "Well, did you bring any bags?" And they'll be like, "No." And they'd be like, "Okay, well, bags are 10 cents." 10 cents? What the fuck? Like, and so it's not that they ban bags, right? It's
Uh, they
that they
just tax it basically.
well, they tax it, and
Bag tax.
they don't bag tax. They don't allow you to use the, like, super thin plastic bags. You have
Uh,
to buy thicker bags, which then supposedly are recyclable. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if this is true.
so the thickness of the bag decides whether or not it's recyclable.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not
Because
exactly
I know that, yeah, I mean,
sure.
most of the time the bags, they say don't throw plastic grocery bags in with plastics. And there's like, I know
These
at
are like
our,
really thick bags that they sell,
yeah,
like
yeah.
4 feet thick. I mean, that's a
Jesus.
thick ass bag.
That's a thick ass bag, dude. That's a TAV, dude.
It is a TAV. Faux show. Um, but so anyway, people would lose their shit, right? Like, I want a fucking bag for my orange juice now. Like crazy, crazy shit. And then people just started bringing their own fucking bags. So it's
Yeah.
like now, if you're with somebody and they're like, let's go to the grocery store, they just bring bags. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? You're against it? You're against the bag ban?
Man, I don't know. This is my thing. Like, everybody cites all of this stuff that it's not that I don't like nature by any stretch, but it's like most
I
of the
don't
time
know. I don't know.
that most of these people are citing shit like, did you see that whale the other day? Yeah, they brought it onto the shore. It was dead. They cut open its stomach. 40 pounds of plastic bags. It's like we're in its stomach. 40 pounds. Well, you know what, dude? I think the answer to a lot of stuff is education. We need to educate our whales.
So okay,
Don't eat the bag.
let me ask you this though.
Show me your fin.
Do, do you think that there is a pollution problem?
Yeah. Honestly, I never really thought about it. And the only reason that I say that is because it's like, everybody that is a climate
Well,
change.
I'm not even saying. Okay, well, let's get
Okay,
specific.
okay. Yes, I do think that there is a pollution problem, but I also don't think that it's the main offender is the United States of America. I think that we're, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
That's
Because
fine. Yeah, that's fine. I
there's
don't
a
know.
literally a visible smog that basically hangs over most cities in China.
Um, sure,
You know,
sure,
and
absolutely.
I would say that our standards are substantially higher for emissions in the United States. Would you? not agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, um, we have gotten, as far as emissions go, car emissions go, for
Hmm.
example, cars have become much more efficient, for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so they say, like in the Los Angeles Basin, for example, in places in Oregon, for example,
Hmm.
um, and I say Oregon because, like, I think it's Oregon or Washington that has these laws called no puffers or like puffer laws. Have you ever heard about those?
Nah.
Is it Washington, Oregon, maybe? Or maybe it's
Hmm.
Idaho. I
Hmm.
can't remember. But basically, you can't start your car and let it heat up, right, without you in it.
Oh, so you can't let it idle,
Yeah.
kind of thing, or at least, yeah, okay, you can't warm your car
You
up.
can't
Gotcha.
start your car and let it heat up. Oh my God. What a fucking sentence. It's so bad. So stupid. It's so stupid. Well, I don't know why the fuck I just said that, man. It was like my brain just like flopped out of my skull, dude. Yeah, yes, you can't let your car fucking idle. You can't let your car
You know when you
idle.
got to your car and you start it and it goes from cold to hot?
Oh,
You
God,
can't
that
do
was
that.
such a dumbass thing to say. But yes, you can't let your car idle, right? And you can't
Yeah.
let your car idle because of the geography of these places, right? Where so
Hmm.
many people were letting their cars idle that it was causing a pollution issue.
Hmm.
They
God,
so
they'd fucking die in East Tennessee with all these like dualies running around and shit. It's like
yeah,
every time somebody takes off from a stoplight, a fucking cloud of black smoke comes out.
yeah. Well, these are the no puffer laws, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so anyway, um, but cars have gotten way, 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 way more efficient, right? And
Hmm.
there's a school of thought that technology allows us to become generally more abundant because we are going to, figure out more efficient ways to use the resources that we have. I
Hmm.
believe that wholeheartedly, but I think
Hmm.
we're in the process of getting into that. What's the word I'm looking for? Getting into that kind of scale of, or that
Like switching to that paradigm kind of thing.
that is precisely what I wanted to say. Yes, switching to that paradigm, absolutely.
Brothers.
But that is precisely what I wanted to say, and it's going to take us a little bit of time to switch to that paradigm. But I think
Yeah,
that's for sure
yeah.
where this is headed. I do not. I think that we absolutely have a pollution issue,
Hmm.
but I don't think the answer is to stop. I don't think the answer is to stop the behavior. I think the
Hmm.
answer is to change the way we deal with the behavior by using
Hmm.
technology. You know,
Well, and people
no, actually, let me
also.
let me let me let me let me retract that. Let me retract
Okay.
that. Yes, change. Yes, change the behavior. Right.
Hmm.
Um, yes, change the behavior in that, like, let me think about this for a second. Okay, I used to smoke. Right.
Hmm.
It's pretty fucking weird that you just flick a cigarette butt on the ground.
Yeah.
Like that's odd, right? Like
Well, you're not
that's,
really supposed to,
but you know what I'm saying. A lot
but
of
yeah,
people
a lot of people do that. Yeah.
and like that's and so that is like pretty weird. Like that doesn't sound appropriate,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the 1930s or whatever, it may have been totally kosher to finish a drink, a soda, and just huck the bottle out the window of the car. Like
Hmm.
people probably didn't think anything about that, right?
Hmm.
And so yeah, like behavior, I think needs to. I'm retracting my statement. Behavior should change,
Hmm.
but I think that we also need to. But technology, I think, will get us there anyway.
Yeah.
However, I think the combination of changing behavior and the intelligent application of technology is going to be the salvation for sure. What do you think?
I agree with you to an extent. I do think that I think that obviously changing the behavior that makes sense because I think this is a multifaceted problem. obviously. I don't think I think people kind of take too much of a tunnel vision view or perspective into this problem. And it's like, oh, well, you know, instead of owning a unleaded gas car or a combustion engine car, go electric. Well, all they're thinking is electricity is better than burning fuel. But where does that electricity come from? Kind of thing. The vast majority, correct me if I'm wrong, but the vast
Fossil
majority of
fuel.
say what?
Fossil fuel.
Yeah. And so we're talking
For
about
electricity.
coal plants
Yeah,
normally,
that's
right?
exactly. They've got to generate the electricity for sure.
Exactly. And people don't think about that. And I would be interested to see, and I don't know if this could even be broken down to this extent, but like, I mean, I would think that it could, but just by burning X amount of coal, you're going to generate about this amount of electricity, and so what kind of emissions are we talking about in regards to that conversion versus, a tank of gas? A tank of gas, you're most likely going to be able to travel further.
Right.
So you're going to have to charge your car multiple times, most likely, to get the same kind of mileage out of it. And so I would be interested to look into that to see how that translates.
I
Because
totally, I totally agree.
yeah, because I just think that people are very short-sighted with, well, fuck, dude. The United States was founded on instant gratificationism kind of thing. And
Yeah,
so it's one of these things that it's like, oh, well, this doesn't work, so we're going to do this kind of
yeah,
thing. And then it's like, oh, well, shit, we didn't realize that if we went all electric, that we were actually going to generate 4 times the amount of emissions than if we were to have hybrid cars, or if we were to slowly diversify how we generate electricity or whatever.
right.
I agree. I think it comes back to conditioning people to think about this shit, and also it's not going to happen overnight kind of thing.
Sure.
Like it, because I don't think the country could handle it happening overnight. It would literally tank our economy kind of thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's
But
true.
but yeah, so I mean that's my take on it. Like I think that I think people need to be aware. They need to not throw fucking cigarette butts on the ground. They need to, there are things that you can do that are of zero inconvenience kind of thing, that it's like, I mean, fuck, man. I'm trying to think, like, whatever, carpooling versus driving separately. Just shit like that.
Yeah. No,
It's like
absolutely.
all of that little stuff will add up and ultimately be helpful moving us in that
So,
direction. So
so for example, encouraging more carpooling, but then having insanely efficient combustible engines, fossil fuels aren't going anywhere for a while.
yeah, agreed,
Would
agreed.
be kind of the double whammy that
Yeah,
I think would be awesome. So,
yeah,
dude, break us off with a little piece of this Smollett case, man. We got to talk about this, and then
yeah,
I think we're gonna have to head into the home stretch after this one. But I want to
yeah.
talk
That'll work.
a little bit about it. So you want to start to break us off with a little piece of the case,
Yeah,
bruh?
dude. Yeah, man, I'm on it. So, as I'm sure most listeners are aware of, Jussie Smollett, who was a one of the main actors or star of the show Empire, he basically told police that he was attacked by like people in MAGA hats, and like they tried to lynch him or something like that or whatever. It was kind of a weird scenario. Everybody was kind of like, well, this could have happened. Of course, the mainstream media takes it and runs with it, and they're like, oh God, whatever. Well, then it comes out that Jussie has hired these two, and I believe they're Nigerian brothers, to actually do this to him, to pose as these assailants and to whatever, act like they attacked him and all this stuff. Well, it came to light that that happened. So of course, it is illegal in the United States to make a like false claim to for a trying to think of what the verbiage is, but basically calling the police for a false claim kind of thing is illegal and has some
Can't
pretty
right.
yeah
Well, you
yeah
can't. Yeah. Well, right. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead. Aside
but
from it being a massive waste of resources, go ahead though.
yeah. Aside, well, and that's the thing, but and so everybody's thinking, okay, well, I say everybody's thinking. Apparently, everybody's not fucking thinking. But when I first saw this, I was like, "Oh shit, that's some shit." I can't believe this dude got attacked. Then it comes to light that he was fucking lying about it, and now I'm just like, dude, fucking justice needs to be served. This is ridiculous. He falsified a fucking hate crime, like. That's fucking huge, especially in fucking 2019, because he's gay and he's black. So they dress this up as an anti-gay and racist like hate crime kind of thing.
Right.
Well,
Right.
well, so after that, these charges are brought against him, and then just literally fucking overnight they get dropped, and the case gets sealed.
Right. Right.
Now, I don't know about you, but that is fucking like red flag fucking central,
So
in my
I
opinion.
don't understand. I don't understand this at all.
Yeah.
Like it's so obvious. There's just something I don't know. I don't know. Like what's the rule that what's the rule they say when it's like the most obvious explanation is the explanation. What is that?
No, it's like when you rule out or all other possibilities, the most unlikely is, or
Or no,
something.
the most it's like hold
Yeah.
on. Um there's a term for it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's
Uh
once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. And that's Arthur Conan Doyle.
okay, well
Is that not what you were going
that
for?
no, it's not. It's
Oh,
not.
okay,
It's a
sorry.
logical principle called Occam's razor,
Oh yeah, okay.
right?
Yeah, I know what you're Occam's razor.
Occam's razor, right?
Yeah.
So it just says it demands that scientists accept the simplest possible theoretical explanation for existing data, right?
Mm-hmm.
100%, like for sure. But it is so hard for me to understand, like
Mm-hmm.
how in the fuck in such a high profile case could you possibly drop the charges and seal it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead though.
No, I mean, like, but see, and that's the, because we were talking about, we wanted to kind of try to pad out this Jussie Smollett stuff because, well, we wanted to have more information to bring to the show. Plus, but I mean, honestly, there's just not a lot out there. But I did pull another article from Fox, and this was, let's see, I want to get her full name. What is her name? Kim Fox, who is Jussie Smollett's attorney.
No.
Oh, she's
Kim,
not
Kim Fox is the prosecutor, dude.
attorney Kim Fox. Oh, no shit.
Is she Kim Fox? Yeah,
Oh no,
prosecutor.
you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
She's the
Yeah,
prosecutor, and that's why they're just like, whoa, wait a second,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, she was quoted as saying, and I wanted to grab. Fox said Smollett's quote alleged unstable actions have probably caused him more harm than any court-ordered penance could. Let me translate if you didn't catch that. She basically has said, well, why do we need to bring charges against him? He's already basically lost his job on Empire because he got kicked off of Empire. So I think that he's already paid enough. I think that that's laughable, in my opinion, because fucking 9 times out of 10, the person is going to be upheld to the highest fucking order of law in something regarding this.
Yeah.
But her, no, it says her defense isn't swaying many people, so she is defending him.
No, 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 no.
Right?
She's defending. No, 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 no. She's defending why she made the decision.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
my bad. I'm fucking
She,
all mixed
yeah,
up.
she is defending why she made the decision to drop the case. Right? Um, but like, think about that. Think about what the fuck she's saying.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well,
I'm
no,
dropping
dude,
the
they're
case,
saying,
but
yeah.
like, he's already paid enough. It's like, okay, well, if he didn't fucking do anything, or if there wasn't enough evidence, then he shouldn't have paid any price.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think that this is one of those things that, in my opinion, the law in this regard is fucking black and white. Did you commit a crime? Yes or no? Is
Right.
there evidence supporting the fact that you committed this crime? Yes or no? Is it irrefutable evidence beyond a smidge of doubt that then you're convicted of a fucking crime and you must pay the fucking price for that crime. I don't give a shit if you fucking lost your whole family and job in fuck that. When you start allowing people off the hook just because one person thinks that they've paid enough, I think that's absolute garbage, personally. So
Yeah, I don't understand. This entire case is so odd to me.
does
Like,
it get opened back up?
yes. Yeah.
Do you think sooner than later, or do you think it's?
I don't see how it couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't see how it couldn't. It doesn't make any sense to me that it couldn't get opened back up. I mean, this guy, like, it just seems, I don't know. It just seems so obvious that
I mean, dude, did you see what he said? Like, this is what he was basically what he said happened. He said that the two men approached him, beat him, threw bleach on him, and tied a rope around his neck before shouting, "This is MAGA country."
yeah.
I mean, dude, that seems so incredibly fucking fabricated. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Because, I mean, you think about, first of all, you think about a witness's, and we've talked about this, the accuracy of a witness being able to recall an event. And it's like, okay, you're getting bleach thrown on you. I'm sure that other things are being said, and they're tying a rope around your neck, and you specifically remember that they say, "This is MAGA country."
I mean, what's interesting though,
Maybe.
and I think this is you and I were in a slight disagreement about this morning, right? I was like, dude, this guy's like got some, like mental issues here. And you're like, nope. You think it's arrogance, right? So let's talk that out just for a second, because I think that it's so interesting to me that it's so interesting to me that, like, you would be in a position like Jussie Smollett, right? I mean, this person has achieved what so few people could ever achieve in their lifetime, right? And like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into the details of how, but I'm connected to this industry, right? And it is fucking brutal. It is. I mean, it is damn near impossible, right?
Well, you're constantly fighting to stay relevant and active, basically, right?
Yeah, and relevant and active, and like, if you are able to get any action, to get onto a show at all, right? Period. Ever. ever. I'm saying small, like somebody like you remember people giving the guy shit from God, he was like bagging groceries at Trader Joe's. Do you remember this? This has been made a couple years ago. And he was like an actor that was bagging groceries at Trader Joe's. Hang on just a
Uh,
second. Hey, Trader Joe's
I
actor
don't remember this.
from the Cosby Show.
No.
Tyler, so it's Cosby Show actor defended by celebs after Trader Joe's job shamming, right? And so basically, the guy's name is Jeffrey Owens, and
Hmm.
it says Jeffrey Owens was spotted bagging groceries at a New Jersey Trader Joe's, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and they were giving him shit about it, but it's like people don't recognize like so this guy was on the Cosby Show. He's a well-known actor. You would see him on the Cosby Show, or you would see his face, and you'd be like, "This guy is clearly on the Cosby Show, right?"
Yeah.
And so what he does is he's defending himself because he's just like, dude, he's like, He played Elvin on the Cosby Show. Do
Gotcha.
you know who I'm talking about?
No, I'm looking him up right
Yeah, yeah.
now.
Okay. Um, and somebody was like, and again, it wasn't a huge part, but my point is
Oh
to
yeah, he was one of the husbands of
so
like the daughters.
to get that role, Elvin
Yeah.
on the Cosby Show, is
Yeah.
fucking impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, so few people could possibly do this. So
Yeah.
few people. And so to have that happen is amazing, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's like once so to be this guy, like it is the rarest of air, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
It is absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
And so to be in that position and to not be cognizant of what is on the line
Yeah.
by creating such a fucking absurd situation is just wild to me. It's
Yeah.
wild. And I
Yeah.
said, well, the guy must mentally have something wrong with him. And you said you thought it was arrogance. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
So the reason that I chose the arrogance over mental health kind of thing is the fact that just looking at, in my opinion, the facts of who this guy is, and now I'm not that familiar with Empire. Are you?
I am not. Nope.
Okay. So,
Well,
but I
I
believe,
know a little bit about it. It's about the music industry, and it's got who was the guy on God? What was that movie years ago? About the all the stories that were intertwined in the.
oh, yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, what the fuck was it? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was called
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know what you're talking about. It's a really intense movie.
yeah, it was called like
Um,
uh, yeah, Prejudice in Action.
not hostile.
It was called
It was like one word, but
yeah.
I can't remember.
Anyway,
But I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Uh, oh my god, that's gonna fucking
Okay,
drive
go
me
ahead. I got it. I
insane.
got this.
Okay,
I got
cool.
this. You go ahead.
But anyway, so the reason that I chose the
Terrence
arrogance,
Howard is the guy's name.
Terrence Howard. Okay,
Terrence
gotcha.
Howard is the yeah, and I'll get the name here in just a second.
Yeah, no worries. So basically, what I was thinking is, okay, you've got this guy
Crash.
who Crash. I knew it was like a one word title, but anyway, which it's a fantastic movie, super fucking heavy, but really highly recommend it to anybody that has not seen it, and it's called Crash. So this is a really fucking popular show right now. So I would say everybody on the show, especially recurring characters, are bringing in some fat bank, right?
Oh
Correct.
my God, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So
dude. Jussie Smollett was probably making
you think a
fuck
million an episode or less?
no, but six
Like,
figures an episode for
yeah.
sure, for
Okay.
sure. I don't think that's
All right.
great.
And something else that we kind of didn't brush over but should have. He was ordered to pay a little over $130,000 for basically inconveniencing the Chicago Police Department with these false allegations, kind of thing. So that I feel like that almost is one of those things that it's like it's an admission to guilt already kind of thing. But anyway, what?
Oh my God. I have
What's up?
got to bring this up. Not now, but go ahead after we
All right,
get into this because
all
we
right.
are
I'll
talking
keep going
we
then.
are talking about the arrogance. Oh my God. I'm talking about the arrogance of these guys, and I actually love Terrence Howard, but something I just found in his Wikipedia is so absurd. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
anyway, I was just saying that I thought that it was arrogance because he's on
It proves
this.
your point, by the way. It
Would you
totally.
say it proves my point?
Oh my God, yes,
That's
yes.
funny.
You know
Um,
what? You know what? Let me publicly go on record and say I am wrong. Daniel is right. So when you are ready, let me read this.
Yeah. So the reason that I said arrogance is because I think that a lot of celebrities, their fame and their success goes directly to their head. So when you put that in the uh, socioeconomic climate that we currently have in the United States, where um, being basically non-white, being anything other than like cisgendered kind of thing, basically straying away from a white old man. To be perfectly
Well,
candid with you,
there are in this drive for it's not even drive for diversity in this, what is the way to put it, right?
mm-hmm.
Like when you start, there are certain categories, minority categories, and I'm saying minority from the perspective of not majority, right? I'm not
Yeah,
saying minority is in like has nothing
in
to do with
regards
race,
to
right?
any like yeah.
Right. I'm just saying like there is a majority, there is behavior, and if you say the vast majority of these people do this, and then there is
Mm-hmm.
a minority that does this, like that's what I mean by minority, like statistically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there are minority categories that have become very in vogue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, like
Well, and just getting a lot of press
and
kind of thing.
right.
That it's like, with everybody thinking, the basically the conservative party or Republican Party is a bunch of like white nationalists or whatever the narrative is that the mainstream media is I guess propagating. But yeah, it's this narrative of, okay, well, if you don't belong to the majority, then people have to kind of walk on eggshells and take the majority is guilty until proven innocent, the minority is innocent until proven guilty, kind of thing. Complete and utter double standard, in my opinion. But you take this guy who's extremely successful, has a whole lot of reach. I'm sure lots of followers on whatever social platforms or all the social platforms that he's on, and he alleges that this gay racist or anti-gay racist crime was committed against him, and then just throwing the cherry on top that whatever pulling this facade over it that it's fucking Donald Trump or whatever, anything that can come back to Donald Trump, that seems to be like a working narrative at this point. But I just said that I thought that he thought he could completely get away with this, and that he would use his fame or whatever, that people would just go ahead and take what he said for face value and just move on, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm,
And then you're perpetuating this this racist anti-gay narrative for the United States of America, kind of thing.
So I understand what you're saying, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I disagree. I don't disagree with all of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think people are fucking selfish
Mm-hmm.
generally, And I think that if people, so yes, arrogance to the extent of like, I don't think, I think that
I
this,
think he would get away with it scot free, kind of thing.
you're right, but I think I
That's
think it would
which
be
he has
for
at
the
this
sole,
point.
this was not for the benefit of anybody but this dude. You know what I mean? Like,
So what do you think would be the benefit from this? Just fame, more fame,
yes. Yes, 100%. 100%. Like in his twisted up fucking
or
world,
like
like
people would feel sorry for him and cast
yes.
him in more shit
Or
or
no,
something?
no, it could just put him, in a situation where he is now like uh he is now a Colin Kaepernick, you know what I mean,
A
type
poster child for something.
for something. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
who the fuck knows? But I don't
yeah.
believe that he's like doing this on behalf of, of African Americans. Like,
No,
what the
yeah,
fuck, right? Like this guy's like he's like, whatever. It's just bizarre. But the whole thing is goddamn bizarre. It's
yeah.
so fucking weird. But let me tell you why I was laughing a little bit earlier.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. And then we probably need to wrap after this.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Terrence Howard. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a section in his Wikipedia called Teriology, right? In a 2015 interview with Rolling Stone, Howard explained that he had formulated his own language of logic, which he called teriology, and which he was keeping secret until he had patented it. This logic language would be used to prove his contention that 1 times 1 equaled 2. Okay? All right, listen to this shit. This is what he says. This is so disappointing. I love Terrence Howard. I love Terrence Howard. How can it be equal 1? He said. If 1 times 1 equals 1, that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times itself has no effect. 1 times 1 equals 2 because the square root of 4 is 2. So what's the square root of 2? Should be 1, but we're told it's 2. And that cannot be. Howard blames his leaving his Okay, Howard blames his leaving of Pratt, which is, I guess, a school that he was in, over disagreements with the professor regarding this hypothesis. He also stated that he spends many hours a day constructing models of plastic and wire that he patented and claims to confirm his belief. In 2017, Howard published his proof of his claim that 1 times 1 equals 2 on his Twitter account. It was heavily criticized by his followers due to containing multiple logical errors and faulty reasoning. I mean,
Dude, that is the dumbest shit.
Dude, it's just.
But so and this is the last thing that I'm going to say about.
These cats just.
Well, they just get in these powerful positions, kind of, or not powerful positions. They think they're fucking powerful positions,
Yeah,
and they are sometimes.
yeah, but
and then they get in front of like the fucking Grammy or not Grammy. Well, fuck, honestly, musicians are the same. They get in front of the Grammys audience, they get in front of the Oscar or the Academy Awards audience, all this stuff, and then they want to spout off about how their either political view or religious view or whatever. And no, I mean, like, honestly, who fucking cares?
Right.
Because you entertained me for an hour over the course of 10 days, or whatever, an hour a day over the course of 10 days, I'm like, that how does that make what your thoughts any more relevant than a fucking bum that's holding a sign at a stoplight?
Right.
So
no,
anyway.
it's totally true, and it's just a false equivalency of the people that are watching these folks, that just because they are that they have a
teriology.
That they have a platform, that they somehow know something that other people don't. I mean, as far as mathematics goes, and like disproving like the logical reasoning in math, like math is just math. Math is an approximation of the physical world. That's what it is, right?
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
approximation of the phenomenon that we see. It's not that. I mean, it's accurate. It's accurate enough to get a plane to fly, but
Hmm.
once you get into like theoretical math, which I am not super familiar, but there was I had randomly, dude, in high school, a football coach who was like a theoretical math major, right?
Hmm.
And David Sands, I think was that guy's name. At
No shit.
Yeah, at Rutledge. Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
theoretical math major. And one of the things I remember that just kind of blew my mind is he was like, theoretical math is based around this idea that our mathematical system was developed because of the restrictions of living on Earth. Like that's really where it comes from, right? So it's like if gravity is not the same here, outstanding question, or gravity is somehow different or doesn't exist in another place, right? Or exists in a different form in another place.
Hmm.
Does that, or excuse me, it's obvious that there are 6 dimensions or whatever. Does
Yeah.
that change math? And it could. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Yeah. Because we don't know if that scenario even exists, kind
Right,
of thing.
right. But
Yeah.
it's like math is an approximation.
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
really what it is. So
Yeah.
anyway, okay. All right. You ready? You ready to bring it into the home
Let's
stretch?
do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. All right. So this was episode 42 of Tether Radio Podcast. And good God, was it a rambler? It was a fun one, though, man.
Yeah, sorry to go a little bit longer than usual. I told Joseph before we even started the article. I was like, dude, this one's actually going to be a lot meatier than I thought it was going to be. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. I dug it. I mean, you're not always going to have like a super high and tight episode, so I dug it. I dug it.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
was fun, man. That was really fun.
yeah,
All right, let's do the social media thing.
yeah.
Questions, comments, hate mail, whatever. We'd love to hear it. Tetherradio@gmail.com. TETHERRADIO @gmail.com. Twitter, please tweet at us at this handle at Tether_radio. Instagram at Tether_radio. On Facebook, you can find us at Tether Radio, all one word. This has been episode 42, and my God, what a meaty episode it was, dear sir.
It was like a fine stew.
I got some beans on my chin. But anyway, I hope, my dude, that you have a great week. You listeners, thank you for lending your ears for a little bit longer than usual, but we've enjoyed it, and we hope that you have too. So I'm Joseph.
And I'm Daniel.
And we are reminding you to stay tethered, friends. We will see you next week.